Good morning, students. So, as we are learning chapter number 2, that is historiography, Indian tradition. So, we have studied about the historiography in the medieval period in the last lecture. Okay, now in this particular lecture, we are going to see the historiography, okay, between in the modern period. Okay, so that means in the 20th century what kind of historical advancement was carried out in our own country, India. We will study about that particular point. Okay. So in the 20th century, the Indian archaeological exploration and research started under the British rule. Okay. So as we all know that in the 20th century till 1947, the British government, the England, was ruling on our country, that is India. Okay, so this British government established archaeological exploration and research institute, okay, where they carried out several surveys, okay, archaeological surveys to find out the ancient privilege, the ancient monuments and the documents, okay, within India. So in the 20th century, they started their exploration, okay. A number of ancient sites were excavated under the supervision of Sir Alexander Cunningham, the first Director General of the Archaeological Survey of India. Okay, so n number of ancient sites. Okay, ancient sites means the places or the buildings or the houses. Okay, which were built very long ago. Okay, and which was buried in the earth due to certain natural phenomena. Okay, so those ancient sites were excavated by the British government. Okay, and it was excavated under the supervision of Sir Alexander Cunningham. So Sir Alexander Cunningham is the first Director General of the Archaeological Survey of India. Okay, keep this in mind. A question may arise: Who was the first Director General of the Archaeological Survey of India? So the answer is Sir Alexander Cunningham. Okay, so he chose mainly the sites mentioned in the Buddhist texts for this purpose. Sir Alexander Cunningham has chosen several sites on the basis of scripts or text, okay, which were written in the Buddhist era. Okay, so by referring those texts, he has excavated many sites. Okay, now Harappan civilization was discovered during the tenure of Sir John Marshall. Okay, so one of the famous ancient site which is called as Harappan civilization. Okay, so the sites of Harappa, so it was discovered during the tenure of Sir John Marshall. So when Sir John Marshall was the director of Archaeological Survey of India, at that time he discovered about Harappan civilization, the sites related to Harappan civilization. Because of this discovery, the antiquity of Indian history could be traced to 3rd millennium BCE or even earlier. Okay, we should be proud that India was highly developed during the ancient time. Okay, it was way far ahead than the other countries and other civilization. The Indian civilization was very far, okay, very ahead according to their time. Okay, at that time. So we can say that the ancient history of India is a very vast, is a very big history, and it has started before the history of any other country. Okay, now you can see the pictures are given. This is the picture of Alexander Cunningham, whereas this is the picture of John Marshall. Okay, now many British officials in India wrote about Indian history. Their writings display strong influence of the colonial policies of the British. Okay, so many officials, many officers from the British government had written about the Indian history. Okay, they have tried to narrate about the Indian history. But in their writings, you will see that the policies of the British government were influenced or were considered more. Okay, So whenever the British government or the British officer are writing about the Indian history, they are going to note down the policies by their own government, okay, and they are going to show as if their policies has led India to a greater height. Okay, they used to show this. Now, three volumes of the history of British India, written by James Mill, were published in 1817. Okay, so again, one of the historian from the British government, name of that historian is James Mill. Okay, he has written three books naming the history of British India, and this book was published in the year 1817. When it was published, the year 1817. Okay, so this was the first book on Indian history written by a British historian. So if the question arises in the paper, name the first book written by the British historian about Indian history, the answer is going to be the history of British India. Okay, and it was written by James Mill. Now it clearly reflects an absence of objective perspective and prejudice about various aspects of the Indian culture. So, whenever these British historians used to write about the Indian history, they did not included the perspective or the cultural heritage of India. Okay, they haven't shown about the cultural heritage, about the unity of India, about the brave freedom fighters, or about the brave warriors that India has in the ancient time. Okay, they did not reflected about those points in their book. Now, the history of India, which was written by the Mount Stuart Elphinstone, okay, the governor of Bombay. Now, Bombay is known as Mumbai. So, one more historian from the British government, name of that historian is Mount Stuart Elphinstone. So, he also wrote a book named The History of India. Okay, and it was published in the year 1814. When it was published? It was published in the year 1814 and written by Mountstuart Elphinstone. Okay, he was the governor of which city? He was the governor of Bombay, that is Mumbai. Now, the period of Maratha Empire is very important in the Indian history. Okay, so Grand Duff's name stands out among the British officers who wrote about Maratha history. So, this British officer, okay, name of that officer is Grand Duff. So, he had written a book in which he has stated about the Maratha Empire, okay, one of the most strong empire of the India, okay, in the ancient time, that is Maratha Empire, ruled by several warriors, okay, like Shivaji Maharaj, okay. So about the Maratha Empire, the Grand Duff has written, okay, he wrote the book entitled The History of the Marathas. Okay, what was the name of his book? The name of his book was The History of Marathas. Okay, now this book is published in three volumes. So, again, this book was divided in three parts. Okay, Grand Duff's writing also shows the British inclination of condemning Indian culture and history. Now, while writing this book, or when that Grand Duff has written about the Maratha Empire, he did not included about the Indian culture, okay, in his book. So this British officers always restricted or has never written about the Indian culture, traditions, okay, and the greatness of the Indian country in their books. Similarly, tendency is witnessed in colonel Todd's writings about Rajasthan history. So again, one more historian named his Colonel Todd's. Okay, he written about the Rajasthan history. Okay, the history of the Rajasthan. That means the history of the Maharanas. So, the two volumes written by William Wilson Hunter on Indian history show a somewhat impartial treatment of the subject. Again, one more historian from the British government, that is William Wilson Hunter. Okay, he also written about the Indian history, but again he did not include it about the Indian tradition and culture. Okay, obviously, when British government or British officer did not written or did not spread the word about the Indian culture and tradition, so there were some Indian historians who took the charge and they they have written about the Indian culture and tradition in their books. Okay, so you can see that Nilkantha Janardhan Kirtane. What is the name? Nilkantha Janardhan Kirtane and Vishwanath Kashinath Rajware. Okay, so these were the two Indian historians who took upon the task of exposing the limitations of Grant Duff's writing. So ग्रांट डफ ने जो किताब लिखी थी उसके किताब में उसके उस बुक में जो जो कमियां थी जो जो लिमिटेशंस थे उसको एक्सपोज किसने किया? ये दो इंडियन हिस्टोरियंस ने एक्सपोज किया है जिनका नाम है नीलकंठ जनार्दन कीर्तने और विश्वनाथ काशीनाथ राजवाड़े. ओके, सो कीप दिस इन माइंड. So this is about the historiography in the modern period. Okay, now let us study about the Indian historiography by considering some ideological frameworks. Okay, so first we will see the colonial historiography. Now, the early scholars who studied and wrote Indian history were mainly British officers and Christian missionaries. Okay, so in the initial stage of historiography, okay, whatever Indian history was narrated, it was narrated by the point of view from British officers and Christian missionaries. Okay, so the Christian priest, Christian ideals, officers, and the British officers have written about the Indian history in the initial stage. Okay, so their prejudice is clearly reflected in the way some of them have ridiculed Indian culture. So, by their narration, by their writing, we can understand that they have tried their best to restrict, to remove the Indian culture from the Indian history. Okay, the writings were used to justify the colonial British rule. So when they write about the Indian history, what they have done, they have justified the colonial British rule. They have shown that the British government is running the country very well. They have shown in their book that colonial rule or British rule is important for the survival of India. Okay, and they have shown that without them India is nothing in their books. Okay, the 5 volumes of Cambridge History of India published during 1922-1987 Common Era are listing examples of colonial historiography. Okay, if you want to give a example of colonial historiography, then you have the name that is Cambridge History of India. Okay, and it was published during 1922 and 1997. And in how many volumes this particular book was published? It was published in 5 volumes. Okay, so this is about the colonial historiography. Now, if we see about Orientalist historiography, now what is Orientalist historiography? Let us see that many European scholars felt curious about the civilizations and countries of the East. Some of those scholars felt admiration and respect for them. The scholars were known as Orientalists. सो देखो, इंडियन कल्चर या फिर हमारा जो ट्रेडिशन था वो ऑब्वियसली बहुत ही अलग था बाकी सभी कंट्रीज से और बहुत ही बेहतर भी था. ओके, और हम लोग बहुत आगे थे एशियन टाइम में इन टर्म्स ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी, इन टर्म्स ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर, इन टर्म्स ऑफ anything. If we took, okay, any point, any field, if we consider, we were far ahead than the other countries. So there were several scholars, okay, from Europe, and they respected our culture, our tradition. Okay, they admired the Indian tradition, Indian culture. So such scholars who respected Indian tradition and Indian culture were known as Orientalists. Okay, now when this Orientalist described about the Indian history, okay, so this description of Indian history is called as Orientalist historiography. Okay, now the Orientalists studied the similarities between Sanskrit and some of the European languages. What this Orientalist did, they find out some similarities between the Sanskrit language and different European languages. Okay, they focused more on Vedic tradition and Sanskrit literature. So their main focus was on the Vedic tradition, Vedic ideology of the India, and about the Sanskrit literature. Okay, so whatever books which were written in Sanskrit, they considered those books, those scripts in their historiography. Okay, now their studies resulted in formulating the notion of an ancient language that could be the mother of all Indo-European languages. Okay, so after studying those scripts and literature, Sanskrit literature and Vedic tradition, they came out to a conclusion that this particular language can be considered as the mother of all Indo-European languages. Okay. Now, in 1784, Sir William Jones founded Asiatic Society in Kolkata. ओके कोलकाता में 1784 में सर विलियम जोन्स नाम के एक हिस्टोरियन ने क्या किया, एक सोसाइटी को इस्टेब्लिश किया, दैट वाज एशियाटिक सोसाइटी. ओके, इट ओपन द डोर्स फॉर रिसर्च इन एशियन इंडियन लिटरेचर एंड हिस्ट्री. So what was the work performed by this particular society? They perform research work regarding the ancient Indian literature and history. Okay, now among the Orientalist scholars, Frederick Max Muller, okay, one of the famous name in the world of history, you can say, that is Frederick Max Muller, deserves a special mention. In his opinion, Sanskrit was the most ancient language of the Indo-European languages. What Frederick Max Muller has stated, that Sanskrit language is the ancient language according to Frederick Max Muller, Sanskrit was the most ancient language of the Indo-European languages. So जितने भी languages थे इंडिया और यूरोप को मिला करके, उन सभी लैंग्वेजेस में सबसे पुराना लैंग्वेज कौन सा था? संस्कृत था. ये किसका कहना है? फ्रेडरिक मैक्स मुलर का कहना है. Now, he was deeply interested in Sanskrit literature. He first translated the Sanskrit text of Hitopdesh in German language. So Friedrich Max Muller had translated the scripts from the Hitopdesh. The name of the book is Hitopdesh, and he translated this particular book in a German language. Okay, now, he was the editor of 50 volumes of the sacred books of the East. How many books he have edited? About 50 books he have edited. Okay, so the sacred books of the East, he had edited almost 50 volumes of it. He also compiled Rig Veda, which has been published in 6 volumes. Okay, so he also compiled one of the ancient script of India, that is Rig Veda, okay, in 6 volumes. You may be knowing about the 4 Vedas. So there are 4 Vedas: Rig Veda, Atharva Veda, Yajurveda, and Samveda. Okay, so these are the 4 books, 4 ancient books. Okay, belonging to the Indian culture and tradition. Okay, Rigved, Yajurved, Atharvaved, and Samved. Now, lately, Edward said, a scholar who has re-evaluated the Orientalist writings, has thrown light on imperialistic interest of Orientalist scholars. Okay, so this Orientalist historiographers have written about the Indian historiography considering the culture and tradition of India. Okay, now let us see about the nationalistic historiography. So the writings of the Indian historians who were trained in the British educational system show an inclination to restore the pride in the ancient glory of India and the self-esteem of the Indian readers. So, as we all know that British historians have not included or have not narrated the Indian history, okay, with 10% trueness. So, obviously, the Indian historiographers have tried their best to describe the Indian history in a well and effective manner. Okay, so their writings are known as nationalistic historiography. Now, nationalistic writings in Maharashtra were inspired by Vishnu Shastri Chiplunkar. Okay, one of the famous historian from Maharashtra. What is his name? Vishnu Shastri Chiplunkar. So he criticized the prejudiced history of ancient India written by British officers. Okay, the nationalistic historians tried to seek the golden era of Indian history. So जो नेशनलिस्टिक हिस्टोरियंस थे, मतलब जो भारतीय इतिहासकार थे, उन्होंने क्या किया कि भारतीय सभ्यता, भारतीय रीति रिवाज जो है और भारतीय इतिहास जो है, उसको ठीक से उन्होंने क्या किया है, लोगों के सामने रखा है. उन्होंने प्रयास किया कि पूरी दुनिया को ये पता चले कि भारत कितना महान देश है और था. Okay, now they are at times blamed for ignoring the critical analysis of the historical truth. लेकिन बहुत सारे जो डिफरेंट हिस्टोरियंस थे, बाहर के देश के जो हिस्टोरियंस थे, फॉरेन हिस्टोरियंस थे, उन्होंने क्या किया है, इंडियन हिस्टोरियंस को क्रिटिसाइज किया है, ये कहते हुए कि उन्होंने ठीक से हिस्टोरिकल ट्रुथ को एनालाइज नहीं किया। ना महादेव गोविंद रानाडे, रामकृष्ण गोपाल बांधरकर, विनायक दामोदर सावरकर, राजेंद्र लाल मिश्रा, ओके, रमेश चंद्र मजुमदार, काशी प्रसाद जायसवाल, राधा कुमुद मुखर्जी, भगवान लाल इंद्रजी, वसुदेव विष्णु मिराशी, and Anant Sadashiv Altekar are the names of some renowned scholars among the nationalistic historians. Okay, so these are some of the famous historical scholars of India. Okay, now, do you know that Justice Mahadev Govind Ranade has explained the background of the rise of Maratha Empire in the great details in his book, The Rise of Maratha Power? Okay, so this man, whose name is Justice Mahadev Govind Ranade, okay, he was the judge, so by profession. So he stated about the Maratha Empire in his book, and name of the book is The Rise of Maratha Power. And according to him, it was not like a suddenly erupted forest fire, but the ground for it in Maharashtra on the social, cultural, and religious levels was getting ready over a prolonged period. Okay, so उसके बुक से अगर हमें ये समझ में आता है कि जो ट्रेडिशंस और जो सोशल कस्टम्स और जो रिलीजियस लेवल्स क्रिएट हुए थे महाराष्ट्र स्टेट में, उसको बहुत ही ज़्यादा समय लगा था। ओके, so one by one we are going to study about those historians. Okay, so we will study about those historians in the next lecture. So I am going to give you one homework for this particular lecture, that is you have to write a short note on Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, okay, and you have to write a note on Mahadev Govind Ranade, and also you have to write a note on Vishnu Shastri Chiplunker. Okay, so you have to write a short note of almost 10 to 15 lines. Okay, 10 to 15 lines. In 10 to 15 lines, you have to describe about these famous historians of India. Okay, Vishnu Shastri Chiplunker, Mahadev Govind Ranade, and Vinayak Damodar Savarkar. Okay, so this is your homework. Now, in the next lecture, we will study some of those historians in detail. Okay, until then, goodbye.